So what was it you wanted to ask about?
One was the ternary operator. The question is kind of like then the colons or else,
Yeah.
but is there an else if, or is there only else?
There's only else.
Okay.
You mean like this thing, right? Hold on. Make it bigger. Like one is less than 5, and if it is, say, true. No, wait. It's like this. Like
Yeah.
the first thing is the conditional, and then if it's true, say this, and then otherwise say this, right?
Yes.
All right.
I didn't know if you could write, like, if you could substitute that in place of like an if else statement, because I could see that there's kind of like a then else, but I didn't know if there was such thing as like a then else if else.
Mm. Yeah, ternaries are really, I guess they're more useful. It's like if you want to print something, or it's like if you want to embed it in an expression or something. I'm not a big fan of
Gotcha.
them. I mean, to me, if I have to stare at it for more than 2 or 3 seconds to see what it's doing, I'm not a big fan.
Gotcha.
It's just easier to say if then else. Take the 3 or 4 lines, but you need to understand ternaries because other people use them. I use them too.
Okay. And the other question was the scaffold technique that you told me about last time.
Oh yeah,
So I'm trying to satisfy a quiz, and I thought it would be rather quick to use that scaffold technique,
sure.
but apparently I missed something.
All right. Well, let's see here. Um, what is the sandbox? Is this something that we made before? No, 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 no.
You did that as like an example for something, but I don't remember what.
Okay, so here's a sample application, right? That we made. Is this the one that we made with the dog model and
Dogs?
stuff like that? Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's really nothing in here. Now I'll tell you something. When you make a Rails project, just for giggles, they're always going to include this thing called JBuilder.
Hmm.
See this in the gem file, and it's JBuilder's an awesome gem, and they use it for building JSON APIs. But if you're not going to do that, anyway, if the gem is in there in the gem file, it's going to clutter up your scaffolds and your controllers that Rails generates for you. So I usually delete it or just comment it out like that, and then anyway, so if you do that, now we're in this Rails app, and you want me to make a scaffold just to see how you do it?
Uh, yes, because
Okay.
I think perhaps I titled mine wrong. I did like Rails G scaffold thought with a capital T,
Oh, okay.
and then bubble string origin string, but things aren't lining up the way I expected.
Okay. Well, do you see what I typed there? Like, you can type the
Yeah,
command, and then
help and more.
yep, I pipe it into more, and there's so many different options here. But at the very top, it's like Rails generate scaffold name, and then the name is like basically the name of the resource that your controller is going to be oriented around.
Does it make a difference if it's plural or not?
Um,
Because I know with some things in Rails it should be plural, and with some things it's supposed to be capital singular.
yeah, I think it should be singular.
Because
Um,
I did capital T and singular.
you did with a capital T, huh? What did you do? Can tell me what you typed? Like Rails G
Uh,
scaffold
Rails G scaffold capital T thought, and then bubble colon string origin colon string.
like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what it does. I think that's fine.
Hmm.
Let me see what it's making here. Yeah, I don't think it cared that it was capitalized. It made a migration. It made here. Let's look around in here. So here's your model. Let's look at the migration. Migration looks great. Making a thoughts table with a bubble and origin column. And then the controller, because I deleted JBuilder, this controller is a lot cleaner. And it looks fine. But that didn't happen on your side. Maybe you missed.
Well, it did happen, but like nothing's connected. Whenever I throw it up on my server,
Okay. Well, let's run the.
I keep getting no method error, and thoughts index, stuff like that.
All right. Well, let's look here. I'm gonna make a new window and we'll run a server here. I hope I don't have a server running already somewhere. Sometimes I just forget about stuff. All right. So I've got a server running, and I'm gonna go back to the Hangout and share my screen so you can see what I'm doing. And let's open up a thing and hit the application. Yeah, here's all that stuff we did. But I should be able to go to /thoughts, right?
Should be able to.
And it should work. And I mean, there it is. New thought. I'm hungry. Stomach, I guess. Okay. So there's.
Yeah, mine's not working.
All right. Well, maybe we should look at your code directly. Do you is it up in Git? You want to push it up to GitHub so I can grab it, or do you want to just share your screen?
It should be up in GitHub, but yeah, I can share my screen too.
If it is up on GitHub, it's a little bit quicker if I can just pull it down. We can look at it that way.
Yeah, it's on GitHub. Let me double check here. Git status. Git add, git push, git commit. It's pushing right now.
What's your GitHub?
The only thing I did was.
What is your GitHub ID? Your GitHub username?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
JW Lindsay. That's it.
Okay. Yep, that's you. And what's this? Is this side project or?
This should be thought.
Okay.
Where is it?
How can I look at your activity?
Thoughts.
Oh, thoughts. It's right here. I see it. That was just now. Okay, so let me grab it. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so now I'm in there. Let me do a bundle install.
I have installed Bootstrap and Simple Form as well because I figured I would need those.
Yeah, those can come in super handy.
All I'm trying to do is a simpler form of the Splurty app because I'm just trying to satisfy this quiz. And I was told not to spend any time like making it look nice and everything. And I was like, oh, perfect opportunity to try and use this scaffold technique.
Sure. Yeah, scaffold's helpful. It just throws up the stuff that you probably would use. Oh man, hold on. Man. Okay.
So you didn't have to meet me if you had a cold.
No, it's all right.
You need a break too.
Okay, so you're. Oh, here it is. Thoughts, development. Okay, so rake db create, rake db migrate. Uh-oh. Do I have a, no, I know I have the database running. Wait a minute. Hold on, it's complaining about something here.
It does that.
I'm pretty sure I had a database running. Maybe I didn't. Let's try this again. Maybe that other project was oh, well, I must have been using SQLite. Okay, Rick, you migrate. All right, we are in. Let me turn off this other one. And let's just see what it did here. So I just want to look at your migration. Yeah, your migration is fine. And let's look at your model. And very vanilla. And let's look at the controller. Everything looks good to me. So let's see what's going on here. Rails S. And ta-da, record not found. Is this the problem you were having?
Yes, with pretty much everything.
Okay. Use callbacks to...
That's one of them anyways.
Okay, so it's trying to... One of the things that you have... sorry, this sounds bad the way I'm saying it. But one of the things that everyone has to learn how to do is when these big scary red screens come with, just don't freak out. It's giving you a lot of information that's very helpful. So one of the things this is telling you is that your code broke on line, what line?
67.
Line 67. Okay, so
And my controller.
And your controller, and it's right in the middle of this set thought method. So let's go there and look, because what's interesting is that if you're trying to show all your thoughts, see this up here?
Yeah.
If you're on the index action, you don't need to set an individual thought. Like this before action where you go and set the thought that you're going to work on. See how it's restricted only to showing, editing, updating, and destroying? Because those are actions that operate upon one item.
Yes.
So for index, if you're really hitting the index, it shouldn't be running set thought at all. Yet it is, which is really weird. So the one file we didn't look at was the routes file. And this is very strange.
The routes file was the file that I was thinking this was rooted to. I just haven't figured out.
Yeah.
Like I added resource thoughts because when it first created it, it had nothing in there.
Yeah. Look, so far there's nothing wrong with. I don't see anything wrong. But let's look at the routes. This is really mysterious. Okay, so root thoughts index. The only thing that's weird is I don't see the get route for the thoughts prefix.
Yes, and I was wondering if I had to create that, but I couldn't.
Yeah, it's really weird. I'm perplexed, but just for giggles, let's get rid of this root route. Well, we got to put something there. But let's just... Well, is it going to complain if I delete it? Okay, now let's run the break routes again. I just want to see if... it's weird. It's still missing. Where is your index?
Like...
Oh my gosh. I know what this is, and it's going to make you unhappy.
Thanks.
Because it's really it's a mistake I don't know, probably many people have made. Okay, remember when we talked about resources So there's two kinds of resources. There's like collections, and then there's like singular or singleton resources. So the problem is when you say resource thoughts, Rails is saying there's only one thought in the whole system, and I need to create paths for that thought. So like if we go back and look here.
Okay, back up.
Yeah.
I don't think you had that resources conversation with me.
Oh, maybe not. Okay.
So there's more than one resource. There's resource and resources.
Right. So if you go look, let's go look at the routes again, because now, do you notice how like none of these routes are passing an ID in with the route?
Yeah.
That's it's weird. It's like, well, how on earth are you going to find the thought to find, the specific thought without an ID? That's because Rails is like, well, you've only got one thought in your whole system, so you don't need an ID to find it. Anyway, all we have to do is do this. That's it. And now if we go look at the routes, did you see what I did? Just resources. So now if we look at the routes.
I see the root get, thoughts get, post.
Yeah. And now they all need an ID, the ones that operate on the individual thought. So if we go back to our server, to our browser, I think everything should be hunky-dory. Nope, it's not.
No, say not on my end.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Undefined variable new thoughts path. Okay. But that's no problem. New thoughts path. That should just be new thought path. Did you? Yeah. Did you put that in there, or was that from the scaffold?
That was from the scaffold.
Okay.
And you'll find that it does that with practically every single lane. Or not on yours. It does on mine.
Okay. Well, you just have to change. So here's, I'm in your code, and I think I can say, hello, mouth. Yep, it created the thought, and another error. Edit thoughts path. Let me fix that one.
Like I say, it does that with every one of them, but the path itself is plural, right?
Well,
sorry. Edit thought. Sorry, singular.
Yeah, it's singular. It's strange that they, you may have, when you created the scaffold, you may have done a plural. You may have done generate scaffold thoughts. Are you sure that you didn't?
And look, I can copy and paste the command.
All right. Well, I believe you. It's just perplexing that. Let me see if this is anywhere else in here. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, I think we got them all. So there was just in those two cases. So now when we list the thoughts, show, edit, yeah, destroy, new thought. Great. You're and I can see the bootstrap. I can tell I can tell bootstrap's in here.
Yeah.
From how it looks.
I tried.
Yeah. Look, let me give you one little thing that'll help on bootstrap is let's go to the layout. If you just oh gosh, is it something like, isn't that how you do it in bootstrap?
Yeah, class container and then whatever size container you want.
Yeah, but just by doing that, I'm going to go refresh. It should give you some nice yeah, it'll kind of position stuff a little nicer.
So it's always the index HTML that it pulls first?
What do you mean?
Like under my views thoughts, I see form HTML, thought JSON builder, edit HTML, index JSON, but the only one it's pulling first is the index, right?
Well,
I mean, until I go to the show page, then it's show HTML.
And I see. Well, I think what you're thinking is that when we go to server/thoughts, this that I'm highlighting here is somehow correlated to
the index html.erb.
Yeah, and it's not really it's not really. It's pulling what's happening is this is just if you go back to the routes file. So like what you have to look at is this. Under the column that says URI pattern, the very top result is /thoughts.
Yeah.
And so
you're using the GET request to go to that page.
Right. So if you can see it in your browser, if you can pull it up in your browser location bar, that's pretty much a GET request. So if you can see this, then what Rails is doing is Rails is going, aha, this that I'm highlighting here in the browser bar matches this, therefore it must be this, it must be the thoughts controller in the index action, and then it goes there, and basically it grabs your thoughts, and then at this point it's like, okay, I need to render some view. What view should I render? And since
it renders the view after the controller,
right?
The controller tells it where to go.
Right. So it always goes to the controller first, and it's going to go to the method in the controller. Yeah. So the sequence is like, first the request comes to Rails, basically to the router, you could say. I don't know if that's really technically accurate, but this request comes, and then it has to get matched up here. It's pattern matched, that request is, and so it's matched like, oh, it's this, and then it goes, okay, so it's this controller, this action, and then it fires up the controller, this, I don't know if you can see me highlighting this stuff.
I can.
Okay, and then it does whatever's there inside the controller, and then right here, it's like, what view do I, now I have to actually spit something out into the view. What will that be? What will that be? And it can be anything. And since you didn't specify anything here.
Yeah, I didn't say redirect to whatever.
Right. We didn't say render. Like you could easily say render and give it some name, you know. I'll show you that. But since we didn't specify, Rails will say, well, he didn't specify, so maybe there's a view that has the same name as this method, and if there is, we'll just use that. Because Rails is all about like relieving you from the responsibility of repetitive configuration or something. So anyway, it's going to run this in the controller, and then it's going to be like, I hope there's, because he didn't tell us anything to do, I hope there's a view called index, and then they go here and they go to the thoughts folder because they're going to go to the folder that corresponds to your controller, and they start looking for index, and then they find it, and they're like, aha, look, that must be what he wants to show. So that's how we get all the way to this. It's many steps.
Yeah.
And then it renders this. But let me show you, like, it doesn't have to be that. You could do this. You could say render, I mean, it's so funny. I don't even really know how to do this, but like, let's just make a file called, random.html.erb. And so now there's a new view in here. This has no meaning at all. And it's just meaningless. But I'm pretty sure, down here I can just say render random, I think. I haven't done that in a while, but let's see what happens. Ah, there it is. You see it there?
Ah.
So you're not stuck.
Okay.
So basically that's the sequence, is the request, then it hits the routes, then the routes say go to this controller, and the controller is sort of, it's going to interface with the models in your system, because here it's interfacing with the model layer, and then right afterwards it's interfacing with the view layer. That's MVC. You know, I don't know if they talk about that.
Yeah.
Model view controller. The thought is that you sort of can separate these layers. So you put all your logic, your like business logic or system logic in your models as much as possible. You put all your presentation logic, all the pretty cool stuff that you're using to display. That's all on your view layer. And then the controller, really, the less it does, the better. It should just kind of sit here and handle these requests and kind of, you know, basically interface between your models, your other models, and your views.
Okay.
Does that help at all?
That does. That does. And I think I have enough now that I'm going to troubleshoot some of the paths.
All right. If you want, we
See
can
if I can
just
get it working.
we can just stop and we can save time for if you get stuck later. It's fine. Rather than
I would like to, because I'd still like to talk about linked list, but I want to have a good couple hours of just working on it straight before I call you.
okay, yeah, no problem. All right, so we'll just end here. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Sure. Good
Thank
luck.
you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.